Hey, you're from the Neighborhood Quarter Guy here, and let's get right to the chase. Today's Nintendo Direct. Nintendo started off with some news that'll make quite a few people happy. Little Mac is in Smash! Now, Little Mac was one of the characters I was hoping would get in, and I had a feeling he would have a high chance of getting in. And to see him revealed like this, it was great. Complete with Doc Lewis commentary. And from the gameplay trailer, he looks like he's going to be a lot of fun. He looks like he's got a lot of quick moves. Looks like he's going to be able to dodge easily, showing a lot from his abilities in Punch-Out. Of course, all of his attacks are pretty much going to be punches. Phone. There goes my phone again. Oh boy. No, I'm not going to edit it out. This is unscripted. Also, his final smash is, predictably, Gigamac. And he's going to have this little power meter, kind of like there was in Super Punch-Out or the Arcade Punch-Out. Apparently when it's full, you're going to be able to unleash a super powerful smash attack. And he looks like he's going to be a lot of fun to play as. I'm still waiting for the announcement for Shulk. Anyway, next up, they talked about Mario Golf World Tour. Specifically, a new single-player mode called Castle Club. What it's going to revolve around is playing as your Mii, customizing it through various items you earn, and building your skills through various challenges. It looks pretty interesting. I've always enjoyed Mario Golf. So, I'm looking forward to seeing it in action. Next up, Kirby Triple Deluxe, more info on that. Specifically, some of the new powers, like the Beetle, which... Let's see, there's the Beetle, the Bell, the Archer, and the Circus abilities. Those look really neat. I still want to see Water Kirby make a comeback. I hope it does make a comeback. They've also talked about some of the collectibles, like the keychains you can earn. And some of them you can even obtain through Street Pass. With Waddle Dee helping out with Street Pass functionality, no less. Waddle Dee is just so adorable, especially with that little bandana. We also got some information on Yoshi's New Island. A review of the giant eggs. There's even a giant metal egg, which allows you to go underwater. How's Yoshi going to be able to breathe underwater? I'm sorry, it's video games, don't question it. Let's see, also a couple new power-ups, like a special star that allows you to become Super Yoshi. Kind of like the Yoshi equivalent to Super Sonic, but for a briefer period. Also, there's apparently a Flutterwings power-up, which I have a feeling is going to be something of a Super Guide power-up, kind of like the Super Leaf was in New Super Mario Bros. 2. Let's see, apparently there are a few new small games announced, the first of which being a Steel Divers Sub-Wars, which is basically a follow-up to the original 3DS launch title. It's going to feature a single-player campaign as well as online team battles. Now, here's the thing. It's going to have a free version, which includes the first stage of the single-player campaign and the multiplayer with a few subs. And then there's the paid premium version, which has the full single-player campaign and more subs to choose from. I'm not sure if I'm going to try that game or not, but at least I'll try the free version and see if it's worth a damn. Next, we have an interesting thing here. Rusty's Real Deal Baseball, which is basically a baseball minigame collection described by Iwata as being revolved around good feelings. What he means by that, I'm not quite sure. Now here we have an interesting approach to free-to-play. Now, it's like, you start with a free demo, and after that, the individual games are like $4 a piece. But you can negotiate with the in-game merchant and potentially lower the price by offering the character items. I have to say that is an interesting approach to the free-to-play model. Actually sounds kind of interesting. I wonder how that's going to work out. I'm not going to say if it's a good idea or a bad idea. Just an interesting approach. Next up, Pokemon Battle Troze. It's a sequel to the Pokemon puzzle game, Pokemon Troze. It's going to have a more competitive nature. It's going to include every Pokemon up through X and Y, which you can collect and use as support in battling. And it's also going to include, get this, 4-player co-op. Now that looks like it's going to be interesting. It's coming out in March. Next up, some data on Layton! Yeah, another character I want to see in Smash. Professor Layton and the Azran Legacy, coming out end of the month. We also got some information about the Street Pass treasure hunts involved in the game. That looks like it's going to be fun. Yeah. Also, word from Nintendo, Monster Hunter 4 Ultimate. I finally have a use for the Circle Pad Pro! And thankfully, it's going to have the online co-op on the 3DS this time. That's the one reason I prefer the Wii U version of Monster Hunter 3 Ultimate, because the Wii U version had the online multiplayer and the 3DS didn't, for some inexplicable reason. Next up, this sounds like an interesting thing. Weapon Shop de Omase, which was one of the Guild 01 games, published by Level 5 in Japan. Yeah, we got such thing. Yeah, Liberation Maiden was one of the Guild 01 games, but this one seems interesting. Apparently in this game you play as the keepers of a weapon shop in an RPG. Basically the premise is you make weapons for adventurers as they prepare to undergo quests. And basically it comes down to your ability to craft weapons. And for those of you who watch Markiplier, I have to make the obvious joke here. Where's the blacksmith? Raise your hand in the comments if you got it. Anyway, that looks like it's going to be interesting. It's going to have rhythm-based gameplay, so I like that. Might be worth checking out. Now, soccer fans out there might be interested to hear this. The Inazuma 11 franchise has had quite a following in Japan and Europe, but it hasn't been released in America. That is about to change. The first Inazuma game in America is hitting the eShop today. So, that's a thing. Also, there was a showcase of some indie titles, including Treasure Knots and Moon Chronicles by Renegade Kid, Shovel Knight by the newly formed Yacht Club Games, hyped for that one particularly, 1001 Spikes by Nicalis, and Retro City Rampage by, I forgot who did that. Next up, and also Ubisoft is releasing The Child of Light, an eShop RPG that looks pretty cool. Latest trailer for DKC Tropical Freeze. And it looks like NES Remix is getting a sequel already. NES Remix 2 is going to feature later games in the NES library, such as Metroid, Punch-Out, Kirby's Adventure, Mario 3. That choice of games seems better than the first NES Remix did, I'm going to be honest with you there. It's coming out in April. And it's also going to come with Super Luigi Brothers, which is basically playing the original Super Mario Brothers backwards, well, scrolling from right to left, as Luigi. That looks awesome. Oh. Thank you, Nintendo. Finally, Virtual Console Game Boy Advance games are coming to the Wii U this spring. All I have to say is, it's about time, Nintendo! It's going to include games such as Yoshi's Island Super Mario Advance 3, Metroid Fusion, Mario & Luigi Superstar Saga, and more. Please, Nintendo, continue to expand on the Virtual Console on the Wii U. Its games are at a dearth right now. Mario Kart 8. Oh boy. The Koopalings are back! Yeah. This looks like a welcome addition to the Mario Kart roster. I mean, I was not expecting this, and to be honest, it's a real pleasant surprise. Anyways, it's coming out in May. End of May. I'm probably going to get it then. Hopefully I've got a new job. Whatever. New story details on Bayonetta 2. Looks like an interesting story. Action looks great. Finally. More details on Monolith Soft's upcoming Wii U game. It looks like it's going to be amazing. The gameplay, from what it seems like so far, seems like a refined version of Xenoblade's combat system, with the inclusion of Giant Mecha. Giant Mecha are freaking awesome! I just can't wait till at least we get a name and a story. But that's going to be one of my most hyped titles for the Wii U. The Monolith Soft game. Because after Xenoblade Chronicles, which is, as in case you don't know, one of my favorite games ever, I'm putting my full weight behind Monolith. Alright. Okay. On to user questions. Flippy Super asks, what are your thoughts on Zero Punctuation? Well, I've only seen a few episodes, and it's okay. I mean, sometimes it can be hard to keep up with the guy, since he hardly takes a break in between sentences. I do like the visual style, even though Ballspawn kind of ripped it off. No offense against you, Ballspawn. But I'm not really that big a fan of Zero Punctuation, but it's okay. Next question comes from Jesus MB12, who asks, after the Arcana Heart Top 10 list, would you ever do any more Top 10 character lists for other games? I actually have a couple that I might like to do. One in particular would be The King of Fighters, because it's one of my favorite fighting game franchises, and not a lot of people talk about it as much. I'd also like to do top 7 wonderful ones, because, hey, more reason to talk about the Wonderful 101, right? More people need to play that game, honestly. Next question. Jack Stevenson asks, do you have a PS4 or an Xbox One? No, mainly because right now I can't afford them, and there isn't much on the consoles that appeal to me right now. Hopefully that will change someday. But for now, I'm happy with my PS3 and my Wii U. Final question comes from Tumblr. Zaypan asks, have you heard of Slayin? No, I have not. But I guess I should do my research then. Anyways, tomorrow, top 10 Arcana Heart characters. Look forward to it.